Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing Week 16 in the NFL. We're talking right now with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, covering all the games that no other handicapper wanted to touch, and Atlanta, New Orleans is what we're going to cover right now. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
No, thank you, Peter.
All right, Joe, give your plug for OffshoreInsiders.com, and then we'll hear your take on Atlanta, New Orleans.
Yeah, no, this is our time of the year, folks. December to remember. We're heating up right before the bowl times. Bowls were in all sports. We're doing very well. All sports combined, and the bowls are always a great time of the year for us, mostly because there's so much convoluted logic and there's some bowl betting myths where the public's always going to be on the wrong side. If they bet every bowl game, they're usually going to lose. We're more specific in the analysis. Joe Duffy's picks, offshoreinsiders.com.
Okay, Joe. Well, Atlanta and New Orleans. New Orleans is a 6-point home favorite, right? And we know the factor here. New Orleans has lost 4 straight home games straight up as a favorite. Unbelievable, right? We're supposed to have some kind of huge home field advantage. They've been a favorite, an average of 6.5 points in those 4 games, lost all 4 of them straight up, not just against the spread. So is that going to continue here or not is the main question. Now, Atlanta, Atlanta getting 6 points. They're 5-9, but they're still, in the playoff race. They're not getting any pressure on the quarterback, though. So, when you give Drew Brees 12 or 15 seconds to do something on a play, probably he's going to be able to make something happen. But is this, is New Orleans snake bit at home, and is that going to continue here? I don't know. Total's also curiously very high, 55.5 or 56. Obviously, offense is the strength of both these teams. That can be a high total to get over, though. A tricky game. What's your take, Joe?
I think you really alluded to what I was going to say, that especially with the season on the line, 100% on the line for the Falcons, but it's obviously very important for the Saints. They're battling for that first spot. Now Carolina has been able to sneak in because both of these teams have been so bad. But, somebody's got to make the playoffs from the NFC South, and whoever wins this game will be in the driver's seat, especially the Saints. But what happens in games like this, the coaches, they don't try to catch anyone off guard. They're going to go down with what they do best. And both of these teams pass the ball well. Neither one of these teams are very good defensively. Atlanta's getting 7.4 yards per passing attempt to teams that normally permit 6.9. But conversely, they allow a whopping 8.1 to 6.9. And the Saints, 4.6 rushing yards per attempt to teams that normally give up 4.2. They get 7.4 yards per pass to 6.9. But yet defensively, they're very poor, and they give up a lot of yards, both against the pass and against the run. So neither one of these teams has to adjust their game at all. Their strength on offense goes to the other team's weakness. So I just see there's going to be no surprises here, no reason for either coach to catch the other off guard and try to run the ball. I think both of these coaches are going to come out swinging, throwing the ball often. And yeah, I know that the odds makers are aware of that, but still, this is going to be a very high-scoring game. Of course, the key here for both the side in total is Julio Jones going to play for the Falcons. As of a few minutes ago when I checked his injury status, all things are pointing towards him likely playing, but that could change between now and Sunday. But especially if Julio Jones plays, I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. Over the total, Mr. Wow. Loshak.
All right, 55.5, though. It's just such a high total. And actually, Sean Payton took all the guys into his office and said, you go out there and you fucking kick ass this week, right? And it worked. Their defense suddenly played a great game against the Bears last week, and that could easily carry over here. I mean, New Orleans' weakness on defense was not really the case last week, right?
Yeah, they played well against Jay Cutler, who's struggling, and I've been a longtime critic of Jay Cutler, so it's one of those things where, yeah, Jay Cutler does have a history of coming out of slumps in style, but the fact that he didn't really wasn't the biggest shock in the world. But Matt Ryan is a better quarterback, and certainly if, and obviously with Brandon Marshall was out for Chicago, and hopefully for the Falcons anyway, and hopefully for the over, Julio Jones will be much healthier. So it's one thing to shut down Chicago, why their best receivers hurt and their overrated quarterbacks playing poorly. Not to say that Matt Ryan isn't a little bit overrated himself, but no, I don't think the Saints can do it 2 weeks in a row, especially against a better offense.
All right, Joe. Well, it makes me nervous, but it's a tough game. Over 55.5 is Joe Duffy's pick for Atlanta, New Orleans. Thanks, Joe.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.